We are going to be getting started in about 1 minute. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Hi, everybody. My name is Madonna Adolphus. I'm a health educator with the Health Board. I have a degree in graphic design. Today we will be learning how to design a flyer in Canva and make it culturally relevant, kind of like ours that we post on our social media page. We have Alicia Edwards with us. She will give her little intro and introduce herself. So I will go ahead and let her do that. Just so you know, there will be some polls, and we do have a evaluation link at the end that we'll put in the chat. If you do have questions, just be sure you can put it in the Q&A or the chat box. So I will go ahead and let Alicia introduce herself. Thank you, guys.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alicia Edwards. I am a communications coordinator with the Great Plains Tribal Leaders Health Board. So sorry, my camera is not turning on. Hopefully we can get that turned on here. But yeah, so anyways, it's good to virtually meet everyone. So yeah, we're going to be talking about making flyers on Canva today. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen.
Before we do get started, I do have a poll that I want to put up right now. So 1 second. I'll let you go ahead and get set up, Alicia.
Perfect. All right. Can you guys see my screen, Madonna?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So here's the screen. Here is the main Canva screen. If you open a web browser, this is sort of what you would go to. Also, we'll make sure the poll went. Awesome. There it is, the poll. So the poll, you guys should all be seeing the poll right now popping up on your screen. Go ahead and answer that. And this question kind of helps us get a little bit of better understanding of kind of how comfortable everyone might be with using Canva, or if you've used it in the past, maybe. And then that can kind of help us with as we move forward with this little tutorial. All right, so there's our results. So most people, not at all, don't know anything about Canva. And then some people know a little bit and no one knows it very well. So that's good, because I would have said very well. So we're here to get you guys up to very well, or at least a little bit better. So we'll go ahead and get started. Yep, I'm not sure. Okay, still can't share my video, but you can hear my voice, so that works. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. So this is Canva. You would get here by navigating, go open up a web browser. And I suggest if you, I'm definitely like a hands-on learner. So if you're a hands-on learner, you feel free to open up a web browser right now and we can kind of work through this together. This is being recorded also. So if you don't want to do that, feel free to just sit back and listen, and you can always come back and go through the tutorial again and, follow along that time. But so if this would be the time though, you could open up a web browser. In the address bar, it would be www.canva.com. And then this is their main homepage. So on this main homepage, you'll see sort of, this is the layout of all the features. If you have an account, this is going to be where your recent designs are. If you don't have an account, it might, right now, if you're navigating to it and you don't have an account, it might be trying to prompt you to create an account or things like that. feel free to hold off if you'd like, or, it's totally free. That's the one thing that's really great about Canva, and why we wanted to share about it, and share it with everyone, is it's a free service that is really super user friendly. So, feel free to create an account if that's something you're interested in. But so yeah, once you have an account and you're in here, this is sort of what your main homepage will look like. It's always going to kind of pop up recent designs that you've been working on, just for ease if you're trying to, get back into something you were working on before. On the left side here is also, it's more navigation. You can this will bring you to all your different designs that you have. Then you would have like recent designs. Again, the recent designs, things you may be working on, shared with you. These are stuff that really great. With Canva, you can have teams, or you can just work on other things, and then that's where shared with you be. So maybe other projects that I've helped other team members on, or different people in the health board, they can share design, and I can easily open it up on my Canva and kind of give my feedback or even add to it. You can have folders where you can, obviously it's going to have uploads. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Then your designs, you can create folders based on the graphics that are on Canva. They have a ton of free graphics, and we'll kind of talk about that more too. But just for folders, you can, if you see graphics that you're really liking, so like this is a maternal health one. I was working on a maternal health project. And so as I was going through, anytime I was finding a graphic that I thought was a cool maternal health graphic, I was saving it here into a maternal health folder, maternal child health folder. So that way, in the future, if I was working on something, I could easily navigate back and then get right into that folder and use those graphics wherever I needed. But yeah, and then obviously there's a trash folder where you got trashed images and things like that. And it saves it so it's not automatically deleted, which is kind of nice if you accidentally delete something. This is a paid feature. So like I said, I recommend doing the free version. It totally works. There's, paid just makes it so you have team members and things. And, there might be a little bit more graphics you can have access to if you have a paid version, but you can access everything on the free version. But this is I just want to show you guys what it sort of looks like. So these are team designs. So anyone on the GPTL-HB or GPT Tech Communication team that I have, which is sort of right here, I'm on a couple other teams too. We can all see these graphics that are on here and work on them at the same time or work on them at separate times. It all saves, which is really nice. If you are working in a team, I could be doing edits at the same time as if it was me and Madonna working together. Madonna could be making edits. We could all at the same time and in real time, which is really nice. Again, and then these are some other premium features, but you can add of course, you can always add your logo and always be fitting your branding standards for your organization. So that's sort of a sidebar. I would say this is kind of navigating around Canva. You would definitely use this and navigating around your designs, and sort of your work would be using these features here. Up here though, I wanted to show some really cool stuff. So obviously there's a home button, and it's always going to take you back to this main home page where we can start designing and everything like that. The other really great thing though, that I think might be really great for some of the people on this call who might be using this, if you're working in a different program or whatever your organization might be doing, these are really awesome templates that they have. And so there's, you can use it for social media. There's all different kinds of, if you're doing some kind of personal thing, making t-shirts. My video can't start yet, but I have a t-shirt on that the health board actually designed that we used we used Canva to create the designs, and then I think they got them printed by a different organization, but Canva also has printing. So if you did, you could do everything on here, create a design, get it all worked up, get it shared with your other team members, get review, and then you could actually get it printed on here as well and sent to you. I've never used it, but I'm sure it works just fine. And then they actually have, other templates for things like presentations, logos. There's lots of marketing, obviously, flyers. That's where we're going to be working today. I make a lot of infographics and brochures and things like that. And those are also here in the marketing newsletters. The newsletter feature is really great too. But yeah, so these are kind of the templates that they have. I would say personally, I don't always use their templates. Their templates are always beautiful. Let's pull up a flyer template just so we can look at it. Always really, really awesome, really gorgeous templates. And, these are totally editable. Everything in these templates you can edit and change around however you want. Um, so like I said, though, I don't always use these templates. I think they're really great. But sometimes they don't necessarily fit my needs or what I'm working on. This face mask one is kind of nice and might be something that would work for possibly one of our organizations. But usually my stuff is like more health related content. So some of this is very promotional or things like that. But if I'm working on like a educational flyer or something like that, I might not go with this. However, what I would say though is I usually come look at templates for design inspiration. Um, like I said, these templates are beautiful. They use, lots of different design elements and the way that they lay things out and kind of orient their pages, and like these design, like this flyer to me is really nice. The way they've kind of laid, even this one is really nice. The way they've laid out the orientation of the page is really nice. And so that would be something that I might come and like maybe look at some of these and then use it for some inspiration for something I'm creating. And like here, you can see they have all different kinds of flyer template examples. So if you're a dog walker, here's all different dog walking, not that anyone here might be, but just to try and show some examples. It definitely, there's all different advertising. That might be something someone might be doing here. Lots of different templates though. So definitely utilize that feature. Also a free feature and super easy to use. And then, you can edit these. Like, I'll just go ahead and show you guys real quick. Just we're kind of going down a rabbit hole, but so you would see that, here's a template. You can customize the template. And then, so basically it would just be changing the text around. You'd hit customize template and you can move forward from there. You can favorite things. Like if this was a template you really liked and wanted to use again, you could hit favorite and, use it multiple times if it was something you really liked. And then usually the templates are multiple pages, which is always really nice too. But yeah, so that's sort of that. I just wanted to show that about the templates, because definitely I think something that if you're not super familiar with Canva or you're not super familiar with graphic design or anything like that, those templates could be a really great starting point that can help you create really awesome materials. And so then the next tab on here is their features tab. So in the features tab, they've got this so it shows the different features they have. So there's lots of photos, and they actually have a lot of free photos. There's lots of icons. They have free icons as well. And then like I was talking about the printing, here's how you can, they just kind of are promoting that they print stuff, but you could print anything on here that you want, that you can ask them to print it. They have some really cool apps that are actually integrated into this software as well, which is really useful. Like for example, this duotone, this is the editing that they've used on this image. It just kind of, can give you different cool colors on a picture or kind of change things around like that. So lots of different apps that you can integrate into your materials. And then this is exploring and downloading. So that's the other really great thing about Canva. You can have it for your desktop. You can download a app for your desktop or your cell phone, and it works on Android or iOS. So you can have an Apple phone or a regular Android phone, and you could download the app and you could actually use Canva on your phone. So if you were really on the go and you were like, I have this flyer I need created right now, we got to share this right now, you could quickly hop on the Canva app on your phone, go to one of those templates, and then put in your information, and you would have a flyer ready. There might be some more editing you might need to do in there, but just for just trying to make sure you guys understand that it can be really simple and can be really quick if you guys need it to be, which I think is a great feature of Canva.
Sorry
go
to
ahead.
interrupt, but we did have a question about, can you change the color of the template?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yep. So the templates are completely editable. So we'll just go ahead and run through one in a second here. I'll show you guys a little bit more. But so I just wanted to note the learn really quick. So we're doing a tutorial here, but let's say there's something I don't cover or something you want to learn more about, or maybe you want to learn more about designing or maybe presenting or making videos, something that we don't talk about here today. Canva has a great learning feature, and all of these are free. And they have a blog, and I've read some of these blog articles, and they're really informative. The tutorials are really great, usually like 2 to 5 minutes at most. So even quicker than what we're going to do here today. And you could, listen through them. They play automatically. They're really nice. So if for some reason, you want to learn more or just kind of really dive into Canva, definitely I suggest going and checking out this learning section, and you could get a lot more, even just learning about graphic design and some, basics and things like that. But definitely that's a feature. And then there's pricing. So nonprofits can actually get Canva for free. You can apply for a free account, which is pretty cool. I believe the health board does have a free account as well, or we've applied for the nonprofit. But then there's other options. You can pay, or there's the free, which is for everyone. But yeah, so you guys know about that. So real quick, we'll go through a tutorial and then we'll get started making our flyer, or we'll go through one of these templates just so you guys can kind of see how it works. And then we'll go start making a flyer though that we have already kind of picked out. Let's say we were going to do this exercise flyer because that seems pretty fitting. So let's say we picked this flyer we're working on. We're going to do a gym, promote our gym. So then you would hit customize this template. And then it would open it up just like this. And so now let's say we looked at this and we're like, oh, you know what? I don't know if I like this one anymore. You can actually go back, and then here is all our templates again. And you could then pick a different one. Like, let's say we want to use a mask one instead. Then we can hit and we change to a mask one. That's super user friendly as well. You can kind of, just move around, or coping with stress. That's a good topic. Oh, and then you can hit apply both pages, and then you're on to the next one. So now we're in here though, and if we wanted to change colors, you just click on them and you can just change the colors, and it's super simple, super user friendly. And then you can change every element that's in a template can be changed. Now, let's say that was going to take too long, you had less time than that. They actually have styles down here as well. So you could just apply a style, and then that will change the whole flyer to match that style that you choose. Yeah, so the templates are very editable, and can be moved around. And then you can shuffle the colors too. So let's say I really like one of these color patterns, this blue color pattern. I can hit shuffle, and Canva will automatically sort of move the colors around for me, match however I think looks best. And once I get one that I think I like the white a little bit better. The other one was a little bit dark. Then you could go ahead and move on with that. But yeah, so that's the templates kind of. They're super simple. Like I said, if maybe this flyer doesn't have the information that you would want, or you would want to put something else, you can definitely, all of this can be edited. You can, swap this text out, change it. You can delete it, put something else there. However you want to do that. This one doesn't have a logo. I would probably add my logo. It's not super culturally relevant. I might try to add some different cultural elements to it, maybe some design elements that are a little bit more culturally relevant. But yeah, that's kind of how the templates work. Like I said, the templates are super awesome. And if you want to go that route, definitely go that route and, kind of get in there and use them.
We had another question. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, keep going. Go ahead, interrupt me whenever.
Can you upload your branding style sets of your company?
Yep, that's a great question. So we'll go back to that. Yeah, so that's the templates, kind of just a brief overview of templates. Like I said, definitely use those if you're interested. And then we'll go back to, so for the brand kit. So the brand kit, I think, actually might be a premium feature, but you see right here, this is our brand kit. So this is the health board's colors. These are our logos. I worked on a logo for LBST at one point. I worked on some materials for them, so I have their logo as well, which is also their colors. So that's a really great thing about Canva. It will automatically pull the colors for you. So it populated the colors based off the image. It will pull those colors. I double checked though. It's probably best to double check to make sure the codes are all correct. Double check the HTML codes, make sure they're all right, but these ones are all correct. And then you can add fonts as well to match your brand as well. But so that's a brand kit. You would go down here to brand kit, add a brand kit. Usually you can just start with uploading your logo, and then it'll pull everything else for you. And then you can upload fonts by hand. have a lot of really great fonts though that also work. So you could do that way as well. But like I said, I think that's a premium feature, but we can get around that. If you have the free version, you don't have to, we can upload our logos that we want to use, and that will work just the same. It'll pull the colors just the same. So like I said, don't worry about getting the paid version. Okay, so now we'll go ahead though, and if there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and get started working on the flyer that we were going to create today for this tutorial. So when you come in here, this would be like we're getting ready to design something, and so here we are. But we know today we want to create a flyer. This is something I just kind of wanted to note. Their standard flyer design is a 5.5 by 8.5, and so that's kind of small. If I usually design flyers in letter, just because I know most of the people that I'm working with probably are just going to be using like a regular computer, unless we're printing like a ton of materials. You might be sending it to like a printing company, and then they can, you know, get the right cutting and everything for the image. But if someone's just printing a flyer off of a computer in the office, they're probably going to be just using regular 8.5 by 11 paper. And when they print it out on, if it's that smaller design, there's going to be a lot to like cut off, and or there might be issues with printing, like trying to put multiple on one. I don't, it opens up a whole nother can of worms that maybe just complicates things. So I always kind of stick with just going with a regular letter, because then it just gives me a blank 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and I know what I'm working off of that way. You can feel free to use that however you want though. If you like a smaller flyer and you want to hand out smaller flyers, you know, feel free to use the smaller flyer feature. But I just kind of wanted to give that little bit of something that I usually do. But yeah, so normally I would say you would just, you know, if we know we're creating a flyer today, you would just navigate here and click on create a blank. I already have this set up as our blank though, so this is our blank flyer right here. You can see it automatically pops up templates for us. These templates are letter templates, and if I search here, it's going to search for letter templates. So if let's say I search COVID, because we're doing something COVID related, it's not going to find anything because there's probably no COVID letterhead. But yeah, so it's going to probably find, it's going to search for letters, so a Santa letter or a business letter. But so that I would kind of disregard that for this, if that's what happened to you. If you click the flyer, the actual flyer, it will pop up flyer templates, but that would be this, again, that would be the smaller size. But so yeah, so now that we're in here, this is our blank page. This is the Canva kind of workspace. I don't know the word that they call it, but their dashboard, I guess, the workplace works, I think. But so this is it. So on the side here, if you guys have worked at all in, you know, Word or maybe Adobe, some of the other software services, it's similar to that. I think it's more simplified. It definitely works pretty nice. So like I mentioned, we have our templates over here. We're not going to worry about that right now. Then we have elements. So elements, though, this is all the different elements you might have. So you got recently used, those are things that I've been using. Then you have lines and shapes, you have graphics, and you can see right here, these are all free, and it'll show you right here if it's free or not. Let me try and find, so like this one, for example, is not free. It says pro right there. That's going to be something, if you don't have a free account, if you use this image, there's like a watermark that Canva puts on it. And you can buy images and graphics individually. Like, let's say you don't want to have a whole paid account, you could buy just a single one. But like I said, there's tons and tons and tons of free ones. There's even free music. If you're making a video, there's free music. All of the chart elements, if you're making some kind of art or something like that, are all free. They have tables that you can put in, also all free. And then frame, like if you're putting an image, and these are all free as well. So tons of free features. And these are all just, you know, for designing your flyer, these will all help you. These are the elements that we'll use to design our flyer. And then you have uploads. So these are going to be things that you upload onto Canva. These are illustrations actually made by Madonna, and kind of talk a little bit more about that. But I definitely encourage you to reach out to local native artists to see if they have any illustrations, native visual artists, that you can use those images for your artwork. You know, it kind of works to help promote them and you know, promote make your materials really look really sharp as well. So then we have text. So right here, these are all the different, so you can just have your basic heading, subheading. It also can be matched to your brand as well if you decide to do that. And then there's also just lots of different kind of text variations that you put together, kind of pre-designed, again, kind of like a template. It's one thing that I really appreciate about Canva is just they really try to inspire your creativity by giving you lots of things to look at to kind of help you think about what might work best for you and for your flyer. So there's that. And then I kind of talked a little bit about the styles already. But so these are our 2 color styles from the 2 logos that I have uploaded on Canva right now. I have the health board logo and then the Laura Brule Tribe logo. And then these are just other color variations and font variations that Canva's created that you can also use if you're interested in. And then here's our logos. And then you can easily upload your logo, and then there it is. And so, yeah. And then at the top, well, once we get started, I'll show you that. But this is our blank flyer here. This is the flyer we're going to be creating. This is a COVID-19 community vaccination clinic. This is a made-up event, but I thought this, this might be something that a lot of the organizations might be working on, or maybe something similar. Just also promoting events. I know that's a lot of what a lot of us do. So we'll sort of get started. So if there's no questions, maybe I'll pause to see if there's any questions about kind of getting started here or any of that. Doesn't look like it. All right then. So this is the Canva. So when we get started, the first thing I kind of like to think about is, the 5 W's, that like who, what, when, where, why. So who, that's going to be like our audience. Who are we making this flyer for? Who do we want to see this flyer and then have like an action item when they see that flyer? Who's that person or people maybe? For us, since we're making a COVID flyer, it's pretty much everybody. We want anyone who looks at this flyer to be interested in it and possibly want to pick it up and use it. And go get their COVID vaccine. So that's sort of our who. Our what, when, where, why. Our why, obviously we want people to get vaccinated. But our who, what, when, where. That's sort of these other details, like that would be the date, the time, the location, the cost. Obviously COVID vaccines are free, but sometimes I just think putting free on a marketing material can just sometimes grab people's attention just because of what it is. When you tell people stuff's free, that that always tweaks my interest as well if I hear something's free. So maybe put that on there just to kind of as like something as a hook to kind of hook people's attention. That sometimes is a good way, even if there's no cost associated. Just letting people know, like, hey, this is a free thing, come check it out. So yeah, so once you kind of have that, I would suggest maybe like writing that down, whatever works best for you. You know yourself how you brainstorm best, but I know writing down stuff works for me sometimes. Sometimes if it's a really simple flyer, I maybe don't need to write stuff down. Maybe I have it in an email that somebody sent me or something, and I kind of am just going to work off that. But it's always good to sort of think about those things and then continue thinking about those things as you're working on your flyer. Who is this flyer for, and what would they like to see, or what's going to interest them the most, and then moving forward that way. So first we'll start though. I always start with getting my text on the page first, and then we'll start adding some of our more pictures and things like that. I like to get my text oriented though, that way I know that I have all the writing that I need on the page. Images kind of come second because I want people to get the information that I want them to get. So I need to make sure the writing is there. So we'll start with adding text. So we'll start with our title. I believe you'll see that I have some recently used ones. I believe this one was a similar one to this. But so we'll just go ahead and pick this one. It's a free version. So you'll see it has a font choice here already chosen. Now, if your organization had a certain font you needed to use, you can obviously always upload that. I have the health board uses these 2 fonts a lot, so I've uploaded those fonts myself. and you could do that as well. It's super simple. You can go online and search for fonts and download them and then upload them. They're just like files. If you're interested in that. And I believe Canva does have some tutorials on that. I think that might be a paid feature, not 100% sure, but there is that option. So yeah, so then we would get started. So we're making a COVID-19 community vaccination clinic. So we would do COVID-19 community and then vaccination clinic. And yep, so then that's sort of our title. And you could see that right there. So originally when I first put it up there, you know, when I first typed it out, it didn't look totally right. So you can use the sort of like, again, if you were using Word, maybe, I know that's probably pretty familiar to most people. You know, if you had an image in Word that you were trying to edit, you can always grab the corners and, you know, drag and make them bigger or smaller. Same thing here, you can drag and make it bigger or smaller, and move it around, just the same that way. This way you can, you know, scrunch it or really widen it out, however, whatever you need it to do for you, it can do that. So right now it's a little bit different than what I had done before. So you can see down here on this other one, I had, these were not all capital words. So this is where I can kind of show you some of these other features, the tools part. And this part really reminds me of Word. So if you have any familiarity with Word documents, I believe Google Docs is similar to this as well. Have like this top toolbar. And in this top toolbar is where you're going to get your font editing abilities, where you can change, you know, the colors of the font. Let's say we wanted to make this a different color here. If we wanted to make this tan, which don't do that, but you can make it. And again, like I said, it's pulling the logo colors. It's also pulling colors from any images on this page. So even though this is not the page I'm working on, it sees that I have this illustration right here, and it's pulling colors match that illustration if I should want to use it, which is definitely nice. And then it also pulls the colors from the logos if I need to use that as well. But we're not going to do that. So there's that. So yeah, so this is this top toolbar. So there's the colors. We got bolding. We can make things bold or not bold, italicize them or not italicize them. This is the orientation. So or the alignment. So right now we have it aligned center. You can align left. I can never remember what this alignment is called, but it's like the newspaper alignment where it's like on both sides. And then you have a left alignment and then center again. And then you can do the same for this, but we're going to keep these centered. This is our title and we want it bold and center in the front. You can also create lists. They have a bulleted list and a number list. I would say their listing features are not my favorite. I use probably only the bulleted list. The number list is not as intuitive as Word. I know I use Word a lot, you know, writing different things, and the word lists can be really nice. And it's really smart if, you know, I'm working on 1, 2, 3, I can really move down to something and it'll keep going. I would say Canva is not as good with that. So probably not use the number list unless you have a really simple, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 type thing. Otherwise it might just get too complicated and probably not what you're wanting. And then they have this feature here for spacing. So this is the letter spacing as well as the line spacing. So you'll see I can really, you know, make it so my lines are like totally touching each other, or I can space them out super, super far. We want something a little bit in between, maybe not that close, but something like that maybe. And then you have letter spacing as well. So that's how close the letters are that way, or we can make them super, super spread out. That's just a design, however you think looks best for you and whatever you're needing it for. But just another feature that to show you guys. And then we have effects. So these are the effects. And so this is where we can get the cool look on our font. And you see right there, as you click on it, you'll see that there's, you know, you can set up the different offset of our shadows here. There's lots of different features you can sort of, you know, play with once you're in here. If you have a certain one you like, you can change the transparency, make it totally solid so it's really dark back there, or make it light and it's just a very light shadow. And then they have other versions. So there's a lift, you can make the intensity really intense or take it really down, however you see fit. And then there's all different kinds. So, and then also, for example, for like this one, you have the thickness you can change, make it really thick, really, really bold, offset the different color background. You can change the direction. Maybe you want it to be on the other side. Maybe you like it on the right side. And then you can change the color. So again, we have our colors popping up, and then we're pulling colors from our current thing. And then that's that. And then that's the effects. And then also there's like a glitch one, which is sort of trending right now. I would say maybe like this reminds me of TikTok kind of. And then there's like a glow one. So the glow is gonna pull the color that you're already using. So we have a black font right here. So it's creating this kind of gray. Sometimes if the other fonts colors usually look better with glow. I've only used it a few times, but it reminds me of kind of like a neon sign. If that's something you're needing. And then there's a background one. This one's a new feature. You got super round, or you can make it very square, however you like. You can make it spread the whole way or just be very close to your text. And then again, you can change the transparency. So you can make it super, super light or fully dark and intense. And then again, we can change the colors to fit however we need. And then, so for this, I think we're gonna do, we're just gonna do shadow, it's regular. And then, but then also though down here, when we'll use this also a little bit later, but we have curving. So you can curve it if you want. And then there is some editing that you can do with the curving as well. You can curve it way up or way down, however you like. But we're not gonna do that. And then we'll just undo on that. Okay, so then yeah, so then we have our text there. We can see that I made, the bottom of our writing here is actually all caps. So then you just go up here and all caps. There's some really nice, it does some intuitive things for you. These are all caps. These are obviously, front, forward. You can hit middle. This just aligns it right in the middle. You want it at the top, left. So it does some automatic aligning for you if you want that. Also, you can see right here, there's these really great grid lines that pop up. I use these grid lines a lot. This is the center of our image, probably where people's attention is mostly going to be focused. And so it kind of gives you those automatically. You'll see there's our midline. I suggest using those. I use those lines a lot and they just pop up automatically, which is nice. Animate, we're not going to use this feature today, but if you were making maybe something for social media that you wanted a little bit animated, you can always hit animate and it will move your text around, maybe rise it up. Our seconds are really fast right now, but yeah, it does all these different little features. And also these are free as well too. There's the basic ones up here. Anytime you see the little crown, that's when something's not free. If the crown's not on it though, it's gonna be a free thing. But yeah, that's a different. And then we have underline. So if you want to underline text, just like in Word, you have an underline button. And then this is transparency again. This, you can copy the style that you have here and apply it to others. You can add links if you want to, add a link to other materials or a link to a website. You can add links that way that are clickable links. And then this is duplicate. So if we want to duplicate that text, that's how you would just duplicate that exactly. And then locking things. So now that we have this though, this is our title and we don't want to move this. We're going to add more features to this, but we like our title and everything. So we're going to hit the lock button. That means now this won't be moved when we're adding other things to this image or to our graphic. And so the other thing that now we have our title, we got to get the rest of our text on here. So we've got to get our who, what, when, where, why, the rest of our who, what, when, where, why. So I would probably just add a subheading or maybe a little bit of body text. We'll see nope, that looks a little bit too big to me. I'll end up having to do a lot of editing. This looks like a better size for what we're kind of wanting to do. So we would do our date. And then I would just copy and paste, and it's Command C is for copy, and then Command V is paste. Canva doesn't really like you to do, well, maybe they've changed it. They did change it. So it used to be you couldn't just right click and do it. Now you can right click, just like in Word, you can right click, hit copy, hit paste, or you can delete. This is where you also could add a link. Like let's say this was a link text, I could then add a link. If this was a CDC thing, I could, link the CDC page where I got the information from. You can animate. And then this is a really great comment feature. Let's say I was working on this flyer with Madonna, and there was something that I wasn't sure, that maybe this is not a good, like maybe this is not what we want to do, or maybe I just want her feedback and see what she has to think about it. I can hit comment and add a comment, and it will tag that comment, just like in Word. If you were using Word to comment back and forth on a Word document you were working with, you can do that right there, and then leave that comment, and you can mention their name and everything. So that's a great way for teamwork. But so yeah, we have our date, and then I would put in the date. Let's say it's February. My apologies if I spelled that wrong. And 2022. And then there's obviously spell check. And then you see right here, it automatically though is gonna do an alignment to the center. We will want to align it left. I'll probably align this left as well. Because that's the thing when we're designing a flyer, we want to kind of we want people's eye to follow something. So for here, you can see when we look at this flyer, we see the title, and then you definitely notice this image. You might read this text first, but then you're definitely going to follow, your eye is going to follow right down here through these. And these are important things. Obviously, go get vaccinated. That's definitely the important thing. We want people to take anything away. We want them to get vaccinated. But then if they're really interested in the details of our community vaccination clinic, all the details are right here, and it's easy to follow the date, the time, the location, and then they get a little bit of extra information. The cost is free. So you'll see, so then this is all going to be kind of the same. So I would just duplicate this, and I would just copy this out, the time, and then we'll put 10 a.m. and then we can paste again. Oh no, if we copied this like this, hit copy and then hit paste, and then we have it again. And so then we could put in our location, and then we'll just 123 North Street, and it'd be Rapid City, SD. And then obviously you could put the zip code and things like that on as well. But then we already have that copied from before, so we can just hit paste again. This is a really simple one where we're just kind of, building off the same content here. And then cost, because we want to promote that it's free. And we want to maybe entice some folks that way. And then there, so then you have all those little things. But so right here though, now you can kind of see it's pretty simple. If you look at this flyer, it looks a little bit more bold maybe. Some of this looks a little bit, it stands out a little bit more. So that's where we then can go and start adding some of our effects that we talked about before, and also changing the font. Right here, you see this is Open Sans font light. You can make it just regular. So where you also could go to the fonts that are like more tied your branding as well. You can highlight multiple text. So right there, we can just go highlight them all, change them all to that. That's the only downside sometimes about adding text. You can't always, if you upload text, it doesn't always let you do some of the bolding and things like that. You just need to find those online and then upload those as well. Which, yeah, you can do that. And then you have the effects. So then we can go up here, we can highlight all of those, and we're going to do the lift effect, because you can see right there, just when I add the lift effect, it makes it all stand out just a little bit better. And we could increase the intensity if we want it to be a little bit stronger of an image. We can crank it up 75, I think looks pretty good. And there we have all of our details. So there's our details of our event. And you can see I'm looking for the grid lines here. So I'm kind of moving around to make sure I'm on with the lines, and you can see right there it popped up, and that looks pretty good. I'm center, we got our center here. We're following down the line here with all of our information. So then now that we've got all that on there, now's the more kind of fun part. We'll just kind of wrap this up here real quick, but This is where we would add elements. You see, I've got kind of a circle on there. We'll kind of add that. That's where our like main image is going to be. This is probably actually just a regular circle, and you can pick down the transparency so it's a lot less intense of a thing. I believe right here, yeah, I used a square, so I'm just going to copy and paste that up here. But you'll see, so I used a square on here because this background image, if I just change this to tan, match the health board's colors, now I can't change the transparency. And I think it's a nice color, but it's a little bit too bold for me right now. That's not really what I'm wanting to do. I'm wanting something that's a little bit more light. I went over here and pulled a shape. I pulled a square, put it on here, and then we stretched it out. And so it's a tan shape. Let's go ahead and do it. So it's actually a tan square, but we're going to change the transparency, like I mentioned before with some of the other stuff. And we'll just take that transparency down to maybe 50. That looks better already. I think that's what I had on the other one. However, though, you can see this is kind of, it's in front of some things. Maybe it's in front of the circle. I don't know if it looks like it's behind the words, but definitely in front of our circle, and we don't want that. We're going to send it to the back. And so this is where you kind of change, you can adjust the positioning of your element. Like I mentioned before, this is the alignment. You can kind of align things just automatically, or like this, we would send it to the back. So this is now in the back, and this is something I would definitely lock, because now anytime, if I didn't lock this, anytime I went to move something, well, not that one, because I already locked it. But if I went to move something, it's going to kind of move everything, or it's going to move this as well, and we don't want that. So I'll hit undo. So then we will go up here and we will hit lock. Now that image is locked. So we've got this locked, we've got our background locked, we've got our circle on here. It might have been a different color circle actually. Oh, it was, yep. So it looks like I actually did a white circle and there. So yep, you can see I had done that before. So you just get that on there. And then again, that's playing with the transparency. If we had this all the way up, the full transparency, it would be a solid white circle. But when you take the transparency down, now we're kind of playing with the color of this that we have here, and kind of using our tan that we already have on our image. So it just looks nice. And then so then we have that. I think everything is probably not gonna fit totally here, but so then this is kind of this is where I'm gonna give sort of a plug for our native artists. You can definitely reach out to native artists in your community that you may know, or anything like that. There's definitely lots of really great art out there that can be used, and sometimes there's like commissions and things like that, but definitely worth it. You get some really great culturally relevant pieces. This is a piece that Madonna created from our organization, and it's really awesome. It's a beautiful piece here, and so we've got that. And like I showed before in my uploads, I've got some really other awesome art that she's worked on for us. So definitely reach out to people in your area. I suggest maybe going on social media. There's lots of people who put their art up on social media, or Facebook, Instagram, anything like that. Just sort of look around and you'll definitely be able to find something. I'm gonna move this off to the side, because as you can see, right when I start putting it on there, things are not lining up totally correct. So that COVID is trying to get on some of my text elements. So we're gonna move that up, move everything up, and then there we have our image. We actually had another piece of text though, you'll see right here. I'm just copying it just for time. I'm just copy and paste it up here, but you'll see that's our little circle outline here that we had. And I would just kind of move. Canva a lot is, kind of playing with things to make them fit the way you want, to make them fit how it looks best for whatever you're working on. So that's sort of what I'm doing here, just trying to make sure it looks like it fits nice. And then so this is our text. So before, this is like what I showed you guys before. This could be a regular text, but I just came and I hit curved. And so now we've got this really nice curve right around our circle to kind of frame that image. And then our logo. So we want to add our logo. So we would go down here. You could either go to logos or uploads, however you do it. Let's say you don't have a brand kit and you just uploaded it. You would just hit upload media, and then there's our logo right there. So I could upload, and there's our logo. And then obviously make that the right size that you need. And then put that on there. And then the last thing here, you see this little banner that I created. I'm gonna lock this so I don't take all these things with it. So I actually created this pattern here. This is not a pattern that Canva had. And so you'll see when I copy and paste, I'm just copy and paste the whole thing right over here. But yeah, you can see, so the orientation already that we've done here is a little bit different than the flyer down below. I probably need to move all this stuff up a little bit in order to get everything to fit. But yeah, so that's sort of all that. One quick thing just with this little pattern. So yeah, so this pattern is actually just lines and boxes. So I created this pattern on here by just using, I'm gonna move this up here. That's not totally right. But, you're in the gist of things here. The logo would probably need to be somewhere else. Also, this is a no-no. Definitely always make sure your logo is nice. I got everything to fit better on this one. But so just to show you guys real quick with this little pattern here, I just made this by creating some lines. So this is a line, this is a line. So I just made these lines together. And then these are all boxes. So it's all grouped right now. You can hit ungroup and then you'll see that I just put a bunch of boxes together to make this pattern. So it's a pattern I'm sure we've seen before. It's the indigenous type pattern that I've seen. And so I just went and kind of made it on my own and designed it that way. And then there I have my pattern. And so then I can copy this all, I can group it all together, which is definitely nice. That way now it just all moves as a one unit. But you can see where this was the extras of my image. So Canva will automatically, whatever is not on the page will cut off when you're printing. So you can see that that was kind of the extra that I had when I was working on this little graphic. That was the extra that was off the side. But yep, so now we've got it grouped. And so then it all just moves around together. I suggest, if there's a pattern that you like or something, just, kind of check into your creativity and see if you can kind of redesign it yourself and remake it on your own, because that's basically what we did here with that one. And then yeah, I'll put the logo on there. And yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much our flyer. If we had used this image, we would have, like I said, we would have uploaded it here. And then you could just, put it on there, drag it over, drop it on however you like. And then you have the ability to move it. You have the ability to resize it, make it as big or small, however you want. We have this one already kind of set for what we're needing it for. But yeah, so I would say, that was sort of fast, sort of a whirlwind. Sorry if I lost anybody there. But this is basically creating a flyer. You want to make sure you have a nice title. You want to make sure you have some kind of catchy thing, and then you want to get your who, what, when, where, why, and then get that all laid out. And then always try to use native artists if you can. And then yeah, that's sort of creating a flyer. We have about 7 minutes left. So I'll kind of pause there to take
we have
questions.
some questions.
Yeah, okay, cool. Sounds good.
The first question, let me see. Is that Native Women Archer a GPT LHB graphic? Do they own it? I can go ahead and answer that one. Yeah, they do own it. I did create that graphic on my own, so it is all for Great Plains Tribal Leaders Health Board. So yes, they do. And I create most of the graphics that you see on social media. Also, I've heard for Facebook, they recommend landscape instead of portrait. Is that true?
Yeah, so there is actually, and we can go do that. I'll show you guys that real quick. There is a social media whole set that they have, and they do actually have Facebook. So if you were working on something for Facebook, you could actually just, do Facebook right here, and here's a Facebook ad. And so then it automatically, when you click on it, it's going to automatically get those dimensions that you need. And so it popped up templates for us. So there's some templates, or we could just start with a blank one, and then that would be that way. So let's see, I'm trying to see. Yeah.
And you can also resize if it's a flyer that's a letter. like the one she just created, you can resize it to fit the Facebook layout.
Yep, and that's
You can move
what I was
things.
just going to show you. Yep, so yep, you can go up here if the resize button. So there's a file button where it's got you can add, show different things, show version, the history, all these different things on here. But then also you can hit resize, and so then that's where if we wanted, you can search for Facebook, and will pop up Facebook dimension. So even a Facebook cover, a Facebook event cover, it's got all different types of Facebook related things. And so then if we wanted to do that, we can then hit copy and resize. If you just hit resize, it's going to change the image that you have right here. If you do copy and resize, it's going to create a new one based on that. But you see right here that now my my graphic maybe is not working as well. I'd probably have to extend this out. I would probably end up, filling out my pattern the rest of the way. And then like this one would probably need to be extended. So there's a little bit of playing. Sometimes it will, resize super nicely and you won't have to do anything. Other times you might have to do some editing around because it's going to resize and kind of follow the same alignment or orientation that you had before.
Another question was where do you save the pattern that you make, or what do you save it as?
Yeah, for sure. So what I actually ended up doing with this little pattern that I made, I actually did this, I copied it, and then I went and then I made a logo. So you go up here to create a design and do a logo, because I wanted to have that same, be able to use it super easy, and then pasted it, and now it's on a logo. So again, though, we're kind of cutting off, so I probably would make sure I'm so the pattern could repeat, try to figure out the best way to get where it's like an ending point, so that kind of looks like they're the same, and then maybe center it. And then from here you could go download. I could name it whatever. This is Alicia's pattern, and then I could go up here to download, and then this is where I would download it, more than likely as a PNG, so I can hit transparent background, and then I could download that. So then now I have this little PNG pattern that I just created, and it'll be in my downloads folder. And then from there, if I wanted to, but however, if you did want to use it on another image, you can just copy and paste it, just like I showed you, how I easily moved over here to this logo. You could easily go to any of your other designs. And then, this is a mask flyer I was working on, and I could easily copy and paste it over here. So it's just sort of, within Canva, you can easily copy and paste. If you want to use your pattern somewhere else, I would just suggest downloading it and then saving it as a PNG to use somewhere else. That sort of reminds me, actually, something we didn't really cover that, and I kind of covered it real quickly there, but up here's our download button. Here's our print button. And it's got, again, you can, all these other features that you can see, all the, making t-shirts, all that. Download, you can present through Canva. Actually, you can present and record yourself. If you're making a presentation, actually, you would be just like a little circle down in the bottom. It's pretty nice. And then you can also share directly to your social pages. You could share directly to Facebook or Instagram, whichever you had, right through here, or you can just hit download and download it regularly. So for this, I'd probably do a PDF. This is like more of a flyer that would be printed out. I only want this first page. It'll automatically do all pages. We only want the first page. We hit done and then download, and then I would have that flyer downloading. Yeah, that's sort of that part.
All right, and quickly, we just have 2 more polls left. I know we only have like a minute, so I'm just going to launch them real quick. Here's the second poll. Do you feel like the tools presented were useful on using the basics of Canva? Nice. Thank you. Looks like most of you guys are saying yes. And then our last poll. Have you heard of or used any of these other platforms? The reason why I'm asking this question is because we're thinking about doing another one on a different platform. So that's kind of why we're getting this one sent out. And a lot of the stuff that she did go over today is in my social media toolkit that the Good Health and Wellness team created. So if you don't have one or would like one, you can email me or send me a chat. We also do have the evaluation link set in the chat. If you can take that survey, please, that would be very helpful.
Yeah.
All right, well, I just want to thank everybody for coming, and I hope you learned a lot. And if you really enjoy this and want us to do kind of more of this, just let me know or let the team know. I'll be happy to do more of these. These are super fun and very useful. So thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for listening. And like I said, definitely check out the learning. If there's anything that I didn't cover or you want more, definitely check out the Canva learning because that can definitely cover a lot of those gaps.